Well, rough day yesterday. Credit to Philadelphia. Coached and played better than we did. So we'll took a look at the tape. We'll get on to Washington and get a good start to the week.
Brian, are you guys doing enough to get Devin Singletary involved early in games?
Yeah, he played probably, roughly over 45 snaps. Early on the game, we were trying to get him in a little bit of space in the passing game. Some free releases there, I'd say, within the first 10. Ball didn't go his way, but definitely a guy we'd like to have him touch the ball along with, Frank and Smoke and Bees. But, yeah, we got to keep working on that.
Sean was just up here, and he said we're evaluating a lot of things, including whether, when I asked him about whether the conditions were more ripe for running the ball, as opposed to just, I think 7 carries for Frank in the first half.
Yeah.
And that's something that you evaluate all the time, but when you look back, was that maybe the right approach to take against, yesterday in those conditions?
Yeah, I think that's what you do. Particularly when you lose, you like to have a lot of those calls back. We started out the game, we went 3 and out, started out slow, got stuffed on a 3rd and 1. Kind of started out with tightened down formations where they packed the box, which you would expect anyways. And then that third series kind of opened it up a little bit more in terms of the short, quick possession game, some quarterback read runs to get an extra blocker, drove down and scored there. And then from then we had another drive going. We missed a 3rd down and 5, which was a big drive. And then obviously we had the fumble there at the end of the half, was a huge momentum swing. And then we had those 2 plays at 2 minute where we drove down, had an opportunity to get 3 points. So yeah, there's always, whether you win or lose, there's always plays you like to have back, calls you like to have back. Take full responsibility for that, and we'll just keep grinding it out.
Brian, you mentioned the 3rd and 1 that Frank was stopped on. Josh was stopped on a 3rd and 2 when
Yeah.
he fumbled. Those situations, short yardage, 1 or 2 yards, 3rd or 4th down, when you need to get a yard.
Yeah.
You guys haven't really been so good at it this year.
Yeah, no, you're right on. We haven't. That's definitely an area that we need to improve on. It starts with us of giving them a good plan, and then capitalizing on the opportunities we've had. But those have been some critical plays where you can keep a drive going, or in that case, you see you got the wind at your back, and we gave the ball back to them, put them on a short field, and huge momentum swing.
I asked Sean this, I'll ask you too. I mean, Josh has fumbled now 8 times. He's lost 3 of them. That matches the number from last year. I know protection factors into that sometimes, and that you don't pin them all squarely on him, but how do you get through to him that he's got to take better care of the football?
You keep coaching it. You keep talking about the different points of pressure. Graham made a really good play on that play and knocked the ball out, set the edge. And those are some plays that have helped us win in the past. Not necessarily the same plays, but, Josh is going to have to keep working on that and make sure that we take care of the football.
Brian, how would you assess the overall execution of the offense as we approach the midway point of the season?
Well, I'll just go back to yesterday. Obviously not good enough. That starts with me. A lot we can get better at, and that's what we'll do. Good, guys? All right, thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yards rushing. That's a long day defensively, and we had a chance to go back and watch the tape, and I think we made the necessary corrections. And now we have to get a chance to get out and practice next week and prepare for Washington, who can really run the football as well. But we think we've handled what needs to be handled, and we'll see once we get on the field.
Leslie, Lorenzo mentioned yesterday that looking through the tape, coaches could be a bit more meticulous, maybe a bit more harsh in their critiques. How have you seen the players respond to that after going through today's film?
I thought our film session was really good. There was a lot of give and take, just communicating, and the coaches explaining what exactly they were looking for, and the players giving their point of view as well. And thought it was really good and created some clarity in what we're trying to get accomplished. And think it'll help us going forward.
Leslie, did they use your team speed against you in the screen game? Is that where it might have unraveled in that area?
I don't know if it was our speed necessarily, but the recognition part of it, Sal, we didn't do a real good job of recognizing the screens, although the down and distances in those conditions indicated that it would have to be screens rather than throwing the ball down the field on 2nd and 19, 2nd and 17. Just our recognition and awareness of the situation, as much as anything, was our downfall in the screen game.
Leslie, when you went back and watched the film, specifically when Philly's running up the gut, what stood out to you, besides obviously their success?
Probably the biggest thing, Marcel, is just, our being able to play downhill as a group and shed blocks. The same age-old adage when it comes to stopping the run, being downhill with your backers, getting your defensive line to get off of blocks and being tackled. That's the key to playing good run defense, and we didn't always do that.
I don't think it's been often this season in recent, at least this season, where the defense is usually capable of bouncing back from a bad series. And it just seemed that once Matt Milano got blocked on that one play, on the 65-yard run, I'm not sure what went wrong with the defense in some ways that it was unable to bounce back. And is that a concern that, this might be the first time you've seen it this season?
It's a good question, John. I think, what happened yesterday, I'm hoping, will benefit us in a positive way down the road, starting with this week. There were some things that happened in that second half, the explosive pass, the next series. That's just not characteristic of us to have back-to-back explosives. You're right. Usually we can get some things corrected. They come back the next series, hit a 38-yard pass, puts them in plus territory. So, our hope is that some of the things that happened yesterday will be good for us as we continue going forward.
Leslie, Jordan Howard said you could tell at the end of the game they really didn't want to tackle us. Did you see any of that?
No. A good indication of it would be when they were trying to run the clock out and Kevin Johnson comes off the edge and gets a tackle for a loss on a 4th and 1. We wanted to tackle. We wanted to finish the game, not with them kneeling to end the game. And our guys stood up in that situation, and our offense went back on the field.
Has the defense lost something with? Obviously, you're missing Harrison Phillips, but has the defense maybe lost something with Harrison not there?
Harrison was doing a really good job for us, John, for sure. But the other guys that are playing, they're doing some good things as well. It wasn't just one or two guys up front. There were multiple guys who didn't quite get it done where we needed to have it done. So, we've got enough players to fill that void. Although Harrison did a really good job and was really coming along, in his own right. But we got some other guys that can stand up and make some plays inside for us as well.
Leslie, you guys were 30th in run zone defense last year. It's 27th this year, 6 out of 8 coming out of the bye, opponent touchdowns. What's going wrong inside the 20 for the defense?
Yeah, it's an area we work on quite a bit and spend a lot of time on, and not getting the results we want right now. But we'll continue to work at it and continue to try to get better at it. But it's something we got to find a way to hold teams to field goals when they get down there, and we're not doing a good job of it yet, but we'll continue to work on it.
Is it the run defense in particular that's hurting in those areas, or is it a combination of both?
Well, yesterday it was run. They did hit a touchdown pass from about the 3-yard line, but they were able to run the football successfully throughout the day, at least throughout that second half, and so our run defense yesterday was a problem for sure in the red zone.
Leslie, this might be an odd question, but can block shedding specifically for linebackers be taught, especially when you don't really get a lot of live reps in practice throughout the week and in training camp leading up?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. You can teach it, and you can get the results that you want, and we do teach it, and we'll continue to work on it. But you can get better at shedding blocks for sure, and it's something you have to continuously work on, especially at the linebacker level, because it's very rare that you're just going to have free reign to a runner. It happens, but most of the time you're having to get off a block or shed a block, and so you have to be able to do it for sure.
Where do you think, how far has Tremaine come in that regard from when you first got him to where he is right now?
think he's grown tremendously in that area. I mean, early, about a year ago, maybe about this time, he began to turn the corner in that area, being able to take on blocks, shed blocks more efficiently. And, you know, it's something we got to continue to work on because that's a part of what a middle linebacker does. And but he's improved dramatically, to answer your question.
You go back to Adrian Peterson's rookie year. What do you make of, you know, how far he's come, like what he's accomplished and how he's playing right now?
Well, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. The fact that he rushed for 1,000 a year ago, and I think he's the oldest guy to do it since John Riggins. I mean, that says a lot about him as an athlete, and you know, of course his training regime as well. So it's pretty impressive what he's doing and the way he's climbing the charts with the all-time greats. You know, my hat's off to him. He's finishing his career strong for sure.
Leslie, Bill Callahan's noted offensive line coach. He's going to want to pound the ball. He's going to see what happened to you guys the last
Yes.
couple of weeks. How much does it become in this game? It's about being tough and things like that. How much become a sense of pride? What happened to you guys out there yesterday?
Well, it's something we'll definitely have to answer the bell to say for sure. People are going to look at that tape and say, okay, that's the formula right there. Be able to, you can run the football. So we've got to stand up. We got to get it fixed and improve in that area and get them to the point where you know, they can't be balanced on offense. That's the goal. So we'll work towards that because you're exactly right. Teams will look at that and say that's what we need to do as well.
Also noted back to New Orleans a couple of years ago and said yesterday had a very similar feel to that, how they just were dominated. What were you able to do, maybe even just man-to-man back then, to maybe help right the ship immediately here we come into Washington?
Well, it really becomes, John, time on task, you know, going back to practice after you watch the tape, taking a look at, you know, what hurt you, and then making the necessary corrections. And that's exactly what we did back then and what we've had to do anytime moments like these have happened. You take a look at it, you find out what the problem is, and if you got the right people, you can get it turned around. And I think we do, and you get it fixed and you move on. You can't allow one game in your season to dictate the rest of your season. You know, I don't think that'll happen to us. I think we'll make the corrections and we'll be better going forward.
Leslie, kind of piggybacking off of John's question, I think this was the 5th time in the past 3 seasons that y'all have allowed 200-plus rushing yards. When you think back, has there been kind of a common denominator in all 5 games as to why that was able to happen?
It's usually, in run defense, it's usually gap integrity along with tackling. Those are the 2 things that come to mind, usually when you are not playing good run defense. And it showed up a little bit yesterday, and it's something that we've got to make corrections and get it done. As Sal mentioned earlier, it'll follow you if you don't get it fixed.
Just a little more clarity on linebackers playing downhill. Is that, I guess, kind of attacking their gap, attacking an assignment rather than just playing reactionary football, or what exactly does that mean?
Well, we want to be an attack-oriented defense, and with our defensive line attacking the line of scrimmage, with our linebackers attacking the line of scrimmage as well, and that's part of who we are, and that's part of our identity. And in order to stop the run, that's what usually needs to happen. So we just want to make sure we're always doing that. We've done it at times during the season and had success in doing that. You just don't want to lose some of those fundamentals of what you say you are.
Yesterday, guys were saying Philadelphia was just more physical. They were just a point of attack. How do you adjust the following week when that seems to be an area of just man-to-man being out physical by your opponent? How do you adjust and fix that?
I think it still comes back to the way you practice and how you prepare and what you learn from what we just saw this past Sunday. And I think we'll learn from that ball game, and it'll really help us in the future. There were some things that we saw that are very fixable, and because of that and the fact that I think we have the personnel to fix it, you can get it done. I mean, it's not as complicated as it may seem, but there were some things that we can learn from that will help us going forward.
Leslie, do you have to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks this week?
Yeah, you know, I haven't met with our scouts yet, but I know Case left the game Thursday night with a concussion. So we'll find out as the week goes on what's happening.
Leslie, this was the second straight week that you've had tearing, but it's also the second straight week you implemented the 3 nickel
Yep.
strategy. What was some of that partially due with his hamstring, or was it more strategy based to deal with the 2 tight ends?
Some of it was because of where he is and coming back from the injury, but also some of it was the strategy with their personnel as well. So it's a combination of the two. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Leslie.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Questions?
Sean, after taking a look at the tape, it seemed like the offense continues to move the ball, but the points weren't there. After looking at the tape, what kind of went wrong that front?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at on our drives, way too many drives that contain a negative play or a penalty overall, and usually those are going to kill drives or at least make it real hard to convert first downs and extend drives to play clean football to score points.
How concerning is it that execution seems to be maybe the biggest issue on that side of the ball as we approach the midway point of the season?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you mention the word execution, that's concerning. Try and keep it in perspective a little bit, just because of the continuity, the new pieces we have this year, and sometimes that takes time to get going, and years of continuity as well breeds higher levels of execution. So that's where our aim is, and that's what we've got to do in order to score points.
You're worried that, well, do you feel that opponents have figured out your defense in some ways, or at least figured out, sense where the vulnerabilities might be?
Look, based on the game this past week, I'll tell you this: we've got to do a better job with fundamentals and technique. And so that's really where my focus is right now. Where our focus is looking at ourselves and saying, hey, what can we do better? And that starts with me, and then goes right down all the way through our fundamentals and techniques.
How does Levi Wallace come on?
Yeah, he's got a shoulder. He'll be day-to-day at this point.
How about Cody Ford?
Yeah, Cody's on there as well with his elbow, same bucket.
Sean, did you think it was more, after watching the film, run fits or technique, missed tackles? Was there a combination of everything?
Yeah, both. We had the one long run, which is more of a fit problem there, and then there were some other fundamentals and techniques as it relates to playing good run defense with our front seven in particular.
Sean, was your heart in your throat a little bit when you threw the challenge flag and you saw a touchdown?
Yeah, it was, going back to that, it worked out, obviously. I felt like we were in that, it was third and real long, going against the wind as well, and I felt like, hey, if I get one more good look at it, I'm going to throw it, just because of, again, the cost benefit and the chance to help our team. And, and then we threw it, and then it was too late, which worked in our favor there. So I picked it up, on we went.
What you're trying to challenge the passer?
Yeah, just he had John's hand, pulling him, coming back to the ball there.
There are people questioning why there was more of a pass-first mentality yesterday, given the conditions, and whether the team waited too long to get Devin Singletary involved and Frank Gore only getting 7 touches in the first half.
Yeah, those are all part of our evaluation today. Those are the things we look at. Those are the things we talk about, and we've talked about some of those, and so it's an ongoing evaluation. Anytime you get the result, whether it's good or bad, you always want to go back and look at why you got the result that you got, and so we're evaluating all those things.
In your evaluation, have you found that the team needs to do a better job getting Devin the ball? Given the explosiveness that he's shown when he has had it in his hands?
Yeah, we want to get the ball in the hands of our playmakers. You saw what Devin can do early in the season. Now him coming back off the injury is another piece, and him doing his job as well. So it's part to whole, and everyone doing their 1/11th of the job here.
Are there any restrictions on his playing time right now because of that injury, or is he?
Not necessarily. We're aware and continue to watch him as he comes back off it, but not necessarily.
How involved do you get with the trade deadline stuff that all goes around with you and Brandon?
Yeah, we talk about it, and like everything, we talk about everything. We look at everything, and I know Brandon and his staff are on top of things, and so we, just like with the evaluation of the game, we look at about everything.
Are we seeing signs of how much this team the defense might be missing Harrison Phillips?
Listen, the guys, whether it's Kyle Pecco that has stepped in and stepped up, or anybody else for that matter, it's hard to replace a player and a person like Harrison. That being said, we have confidence in the guys, in Kyle in this case, and the other guys in the room to do their job and do it at a high level.
You challenged the defensive front, getting all the way back to training camp, wanting that nastiness, and seeing an improvement up there in their ability to get outfield and affect things. How satisfied are you midway through the season with where that's at?
Yeah, I would say, yesterday I thought at times I saw that, and there's other times I didn't see enough of it, quite honestly, and so that's some of the conversations we've had today.
Where are you at through 7 games with Starla Tulane and where he's playing consistently at that level?
Yeah, I think Star's doing a good job. I mean, like I've said before, when it comes down to playing defensive tackle, it's the most unselfish position on the defense. And so your name doesn't get in the paper a lot, and sometimes that's a good thing as it relates to staying in your gap and doing your job. So those one techniques, as he's a one technique, those defensive tackles sometimes don't get a lot of recognition for the dirty work, and Star, I thought yesterday played a solid game for us.
Coach, just with respect to penalties, I know they kind of cropped up again and kind of put you in some bad down and distance situations again. I know in the past you've had refs at practice and stuff to address that stuff. Is that something that you never consider again?
Yeah, we've talked about that. We had a retired NFL ref out last week, and it's an ongoing effort. I don't think it's going to go away all at once. It gets right back into our discipline, and we've drilled down hard on that last week, even though it didn't show up, and we're going to continue to drill down on that fundamental, because that's an important piece of our football team.
What lesson do you think you and the team got from what happened yesterday?
Well, there's many lessons. I mean, I don't know if there's one lesson really, John. There's many lessons. You start by knowing it's a week-to-week league, and we've talked a lot about that, knowing that team was urgent coming in here because of where their season was, and respecting that. And then there's also the focus on us of, hey, the physicality of our football team, being able to establish the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball early in the game. Affecting the quarterback early in the game, us affecting their quarterback, them affecting our quarterback, and then special teams playing its role in the game as well. So all 3 phases coming together to form one unit, really. And so there's some things we did well, and there's some things, obviously, we didn't do well enough, and that's where we have to work this week.
Sean, Josh Allen's fumbled 8 times now this season. That matches his total from last year. I know not all of those you pinned squarely on him, depending on the protection and whatnot, but what does he have to do better in that regard of taking care of the football?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, Jay. You got to take care of the football. You carry the football on our football team in this league. You got to take care of the football. The football determines a lot of games in terms of the turnover margin.
Does that make you hesitant at all to have those design runs? Obviously, he's going to scramble at times, but with design runs, the way he's not protecting the football, does that make you hesitant?
Well, number one, I have confidence in Josh. We have confidence in Josh. Number two, we always have conversations about the different ways we handle the football week to week as it relates to game planning. So we'll continue to evaluate that as well.
Sean, Brian, particularly on the coaching staff, there seems to be some frustration within the fan base about play calling. Obviously, fans always think they know how to call a game, but what is your assessment of him yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the conditions were the way they were. Are there plays that I want back, and I'm sure Brian wants back? Absolutely. And that's why I was up late last night and up again early this morning trying to evaluate all 3 phases. And so it's continuing for me to coach my coaches and for us to dialogue and collaborate on what we feel like is the best thing for our football team, and putting our players in position to be successful, putting them in positions of strength. And whether it's who handles the football to runs, passes, all that type of stuff, we've just got to continue to grow, continue to work out some of the kinks that are preventing us from scoring points. Because at the end of the day, you got to score points, and we haven't scored enough points, and we've got to continue to find ways to score points.
Sean, how much are you looking at this week as a test for your team after their first decisive loss of the season?
Yeah, I'm looking for us to get back to our process and doing what we do and how we do it, playing physical football, having a great week of practice, a great week of preparation, and going against a good football team coming in here. I know what the record suggests, but this is a good football team. You saw how they played the Vikings, who are a good football team, and so we expect a good game this week. And they're well coached by Coach Callahan. I have a lot of respect for him and his staff, and so we've got to make sure that we have a good week of preparation here. You guys good? All right, thanks.